When zero balance feels like control, the illusion of breaking even, fragile ground. The month ends. The account is at zero or close enough. The bills were paid. Nothing bounced. No one is calling. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet voice says, "I made it." For millions of people, that is what financial success feels like. Not growth, not progress, just survival with dignity. Just making it to the next paycheck without a crisis. And if that's where you are right now, this isn't a judgment. It's an invitation to look more carefully at something that might feel like stability, but isn't. Because there is a version of financial life that looks responsible from the outside, feels manageable from the inside, and is quietly one unexpected expense away from collapse. It has a name. It's called breaking even. And the most dangerous thing about it is how normal it feels. You're just using all of what comes in to cover all of what goes out. A perfect, frictionless zero. The problem is that life is not a predictable system. Life generates irregular, unplanned expenses with complete indifference to your budget. The car needs a repair. A family member needs help. A medical bill arrives. A device breaks. A job is lost, even temporarily. These are not rare catastrophes. They are normal features of a human life, occurring with reliable frequency. And when they occur inside a breaking-even life, there is no buffer. There is no layer of protection between the unexpected expense and the debt that follows. The zero balance, which felt like control, was actually the thinnest possible margin between stability and crisis, not a floor, a tightrope. Here is the mechanism that makes this so easy to miss. The brain is very good at evaluating the present and very poor at internalizing future risk in an emotionally meaningful way. When you pay all your bills and reach the end of the month intact, the brain registers that as a success. The immediate reality, no debt, no crisis, no calls from creditors, feels safe. The future risk, the car that will eventually need repairs, the emergency that will eventually arrive, is abstract, distant, not felt. This is why people who are genuinely intelligent, genuinely responsible, and genuinely trying to manage their finances well can still live in the breaking-even trap for years. It's not a failure of intelligence. It's a failure of imagination, the very specific difficulty of making future vulnerability feel as real as present stability. There's also an identity component. Many people who are breaking even have internalized a sense of financial virtue around the fact that they are not in debt, not spending recklessly, not ignoring their obligations. They compare themselves to people who are clearly struggling and feel, reasonably, that they are doing better. That comparison is accurate, but it conflates better than disaster with genuinely secure. Those are not the same thing. Cool. Let's talk about what the breaking even trap actually costs, beyond the obvious vulnerability to emergencies. It costs time. Every year spent breaking even is a year where nothing compounds, nothing builds, nothing moves forward. The financial position at the end of that year is identical to the financial position at the beginning. Income came in, expenses went out, and the net result was zero movement. Multiply that by 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and you begin to feel the real weight of the trap. Not disaster, just stillness. A life financially frozen in place while time continues to pass. It costs options. Financial margin, even a small one, creates the ability to choose. To leave a job that is wrong for you. To take a course that would change your trajectory. To help someone you love without destabilizing yourself. To say no to something you don't want because you have enough to absorb the consequence. Breaking even eliminates options not dramatically, but gradually. You stay in situations you would leave if you could. You accept terms you would negotiate if you had leverage. The zero balance isn't just a number, it's a constraint on your life. It costs confidence. There is a specific kind of financial anxiety that belongs to people who are technically managing but have nothing saved. It is the anxiety of knowing, somewhere beneath the daily normalcy, that you are one bad month away from a problem you are not equipped to handle. That awareness doesn't always surface consciously, but it operates. It creates background stress that influences decisions, relationships, and how you experience your own life. Study after study, and the lived experience of financial counselors and educators worldwide shows that people who wait until they earn more to start saving almost universally find that the new income brings new expenses and the margin remains zero. Lifestyle expands with income. The new salary becomes the new baseline. The saving never begins because saving was never built into the structure of financial life. It was always treated as what would happen with the leftover. And there is never a leftover. The insight that breaks this pattern is simple and uncomfortable. Saving is not what you do with what's left. Saving is what you do first, and you live on what remains. This is not a new idea. It has been expressed in different forms by financial educators for generations. It remains underused because it requires a decision, a deliberate, uncomfortable reassignment of how money flows, rather than a passive hope that the leftover will eventually appear. Here is what practical movement looks like for someone inside the breaking even trap. It does not start with a large number. It does not require a dramatic restructuring of your entire financial life. It starts with the smallest meaningful unit of margin you can create without making your current situation unbearable. For some people, that is the equivalent of $20 or $30 a month. That number feels almost embarrassingly small. It should be stated clearly. It is not small. It is the beginning of a different financial architecture. It is the first evidence that your financial life has a surplus, that you produce more than you consume, even marginally. That is a different identity than breaking even, and identity, as we've discussed, drives behavior. That small amount goes somewhere separate, not in the same account where the bills are paid, because if it's accessible, it will eventually be consumed by the same system it came from. A separate account, automatic transfer on payday, before anything else. The system handles it. You don't have to remember to be disciplined. The structure is disciplined for you. Over time, that number grows, not because of a dramatic income increase, but because the habit of saving and the identity of being someone who saves tends to create conditions where more saving becomes possible. You start noticing expenses that can be reduced. You start making decisions that are slightly more aligned with your financial goals. The behavior and the identity reinforce each other. It requires a decision, followed by a structure, followed by time. Breaking even isn't failure. For a lot of people, it represents genuine effort under real constraints. But it is a ceiling, not a floor. And ceilings are worth knowing about. Because once you see them clearly, you can start building a door.